Alright, this is a bit of a different video. Kinda like the Sonic.exe videos I made. I'm gonna talk about another FNF mod that got canceled. So, recently, like, I don't know, like a week ago, Friday Night Funkin' Mistful Crimson Morning was canceled. Version 2 had been canceled. Mistful Crimson Morning's gone. The only other SpongeBob mod that's related that's still continuing work is Spongebob Parodies. So why did Mistful Crimson Morning went down, and what was going to be in Mistful Crimson Morning? I think it's important to recap what was in version 1. Mistful Crimson Morning is based off the Suicide Squidward creepypasta. A creepypasta that was made describing a lost episode in Nickelodeon's headquarters. Of course, the creepypasta was all about, Squidward, as the title would suggest. The mod heavily bases the main week off the creepypasta. After that, there were some extras. Sangulacramia is based off of Canon Squidward. Canon Squidward being the official SpongeBob version of Suicide Squidward, aka Red Mist. Appearing in the episode SpongeBob in Random Land, it was in a scene where SpongeBob and Squidward find a door in Random Land, where it eventually turns into a wall of doors and transforms that into one. One single door, and it transforms into a wall of doors that SpongeBob and Squidward proceed to keep opening. One of the doors features Squidward's bedroom along with Suicide Squidward staring back. Sangulacramia takes place in that exact same scene. It was an infamous deleted scene, and I'm betting that the developers of Mistful Crimson Morning were sort of inspired by that one scene and decided to throw it in. The next song is based off of a webcomic known as the Bikini Bottom Horrors, which, funny enough, Bikini Bottom Horrors has an entire animated version of the story that you can go watch on YouTube. So yeah, the main opponent is Bikini Bottom Horrors Patrick, or the Tortured One. In Bikini Bottom Horrors, Clone Patrick, or the Tortured One, is a Patrick clone that was created out of Patrick's lopped off limb. And Mr. Krabs uses it as a Krabby Patty secret formula to produce profit. However, Patrick gets the senses of his clone after an uncooked Krabby Patty was accidentally served. Thus, our main Patrick goes into a frenzy as well as a killing rampage, turning into a freakish monster. The Squidward you see is a version of Squidward that turns into a muscular beast, using his powers to stop the evil Patrick. In Bikini Bottom Horrors, Mr. Krabs also turns into a monster. But Mr. Krabs' form, he cracks open his shell and becomes an actual crab, which I thought was just kind of weird. I don't know. But hey, it's SpongeBob. Random stuff happened anyways. Warning. Bikini Bottom Horrors has murder, so yeah. It's also brutal, so I recommend... Yeah. Anyways. Next was Served. Served being one of my favorite songs of Mistful Crimson Morning. Served is based off of a creepypasta known as Plankton Got Served, a creepypasta variant of the episode One Course Meal, where Mr. Krabs tricks Plankton by using Plankton's fear of whales. Now, in the normal episode, SpongeBob gets Plankton off of his depression. Plankton does a witty comeback against Mr. Krabs. But in the creepypasta, Plankton refuses to believe SpongeBob, and Plankton waits to get run over by a bus, which is something he says in the actual episode. And the creepypasta, Plankton does get run over by a bus. In the Friday Night Funkin' version, I guess it's kind of the same, except that Boyfriend's the one trying to help Plankton. Considering that the song Serve plays out the creepypasta exactly how it does the same. After Plankton is run over by car, aka bus, Plankton finds himself in a, I guess, purgatory-like state on top of two pillars. At the top, there's a shining light with Plankton's family calling out, and at the bottom, there's a feast of whales. It's obvious the light and the staircase that eventually shows up, which appears in Mistful Crimson Morning's cancel build, is obviously meant to represent heaven, while the whales and the darkness are meant to represent hell. Unfortunately, Plankton accepts his fate, ignoring the light to heaven and falling down to be consumed by the whales and thus breaching to hell, thus ending the creepypasta. The Mistful Crimson Morning mod captures the entire story perfectly, as far as I know. After Serve, the next song is Satisfaction, I think. Satisfaction is based off of the SpongeBob from the YouTuber Meat Canyon's YouTube channel. From a YouTube video known as The Secret Formula by Meat Canyon. It features a demented SpongeBob whose secret formula comes directly from SpongeBob, which Mr. Krabs and Squidward keep abusing. Yeah, kind of disturbing. SpongeBob doesn't seem to care. In fact, he seems happy that he's giving pieces of himself away in order to please everyone. Meat Canyon says that he did this as a way to represent himself as well as kind of entertainment themselves. People working hard in the industry, giving pieces of themselves away only to entertain people. I guess this is why Meat Canyon's other stuff didn't go down, like his lab series, and instead people just wanted the weird abstract stuff about different things. Different YouTubers, different cartoon characters, all that stuff. I mean, Meat Canyon's whole second channel is all dedicated to that stuff, so yeah, whatever. The next song is Dead Hope. Dead Hope is based off of another creepypasta known as Faceless. Faceless refers to a scrapped episode where the entirety of Bikini Bottom are faceless, and they try to beg Squidward for help. The characters are not trying to harm. The faceless residents of Bikini Bottom are not trying to harm Squidward. They're simply just asking for his help. But since they're faceless, of course, they have no mouth, so they can't even communicate. And Squidward takes the wrong turn and becomes terrified, with Squidward passing out and ending up in sort of a doctor's area, where a shadowy figure proceeds to cut Squidward's face off, I'm presuming. And Squidward wakes up only to find out that he's faceless too. A very demented creepypasta, I do say. In the FNF version, SpongeBob and Patrick proceed to chase down boyfriend while flying, which isn't something in the creepypasta. Essentially means that the Dead Hope versions are probably demented versions of SpongeBob and Patrick, attempting to kill boyfriend. It's also to note that when version 1 released, Dead Hope was supposed to have a unique game over. Dead Hope has the only unique game over, as losing to the song crashes your game. Definitely a bug. I don't know why. Don't know why it crashed the game, but it's gonna be the only unique dev screen. Next is Dumped. Dumped is based off of the bootleg SpongeBob creepypasta, as far as I'm aware of. More or less just a rumor of an urban legend that there is a tape of a bootleg SpongeBob, and if you look at it long enough, then you might see bootleg SpongeBob blink. It's also said anyone who watches it will die in about a year or so. In Dumped, bootleg SpongeBob attempts to scare boyfriend, but boyfriend is unfazed because it is canonically known that boyfriend is incredibly fucking stupid. So, yeah. So, eventually boyfriend just pulls out a guitar, which I just thought was kind of funny, and then comes the best part of Dumped. Dumped is also my other favorite song, along with Satisfaction, Dead Home. Yeah, I have a bunch of favorites from Mistful Crimson Morning. Next is Cannibalism. Cannibalism, of course, being a reference to the Robot Chicken skit from Adult Swim. The infamous Robot Chicken SpongeBob Krabby Patties are made out of crab skit, where SpongeBob reveals that Krabby Patties are made out of crab legs, in which Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob that he's probably just joking, and proceeds to pull out an actual box of crab legs. Then SpongeBob reveals that all the other items of the Krusty Krab are actually from actual sea animals, revealing that Mr. Krabs is actually making everyone a cannibal by doing so. Everyone proceeds to defeat Mr. Krabs by beating the shit out of him, while SpongeBob says, "I'm glad nothing disgusting happens to a yellow sponge." And that's the skit end. A pretty short one, but damn was it groundbreaking. It was so groundbreaking, it appeared in both SpongeBob mods for FNF. Spongebob Parodies as the last week of the mod, the last main week before the extra stuff in free play, and Mistful Crimson Morning. Funny enough, the Robot Chicken Cannibalism song in Mistful Crimson Morning uses 3D assets, which I thought was a bit cool. So yeah, 3D graphics are used. And considering that it has the largest folder in the mod, considering that, everything's all 3D. The background is 3D, the characters are 3D, so yeah, it's a lot of data. 3D models get imported easily now. Next is Dehydrated. Dehydrated doesn't base itself off of any creepypasta. Yet Dehydrated is sort of a reference to one of the first SpongeBob episodes. More or less the episode where SpongeBob meets Sandy for the first time and gets to visit Sandy's tree dome, where SpongeBob becomes dehydrated due to a lack of water, as SpongeBob is of course a sponge and requires water to survive, while Sandy is a squirrel and thus a mammal, and mammals require fresh air and don't require too much water to suffocate and drown. So yeah, Sandy is a squirrel. She comes from the land. It's the reason why she has that suit that lets her survive underwater. Yeah, I think you can get where I'm going at. Anyways, with Dehydrated, the model for Dehydrated SpongeBob is directly taken from SpongeBob Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, as well as SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, two SpongeBob games released for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo GameCube, and the model is directly ripped from that. The Sandy's Tree Dome location seems to be directly taken from Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is nice. I always like it when FNF mods like to reference classic games. Yeah. There were also some scrapped animations, such as SpongeBob having an animation of "I need it," rather than just using arrows. And the rest of the song was gonna have this entire scrap thing where SpongeBob would be chasing Boyfriend around the tree dome, which I thought was cool and also kind of scary. And yes, a running animation that does not pause while the character is singing. Yes. Dehydrated has the second biggest mod file for some unknown reason. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. The next song is the joke song of the mod, Joe Mama. The song is copyrighted, but you know what? Fuck it. I like it. I like Joe Mama. It's a fun song. It's basically a meme song. Essentially the Sunky's milk of Mistful Crimson Warning. And what essentially is just memes, because that is. The Squidward you see in Joe Mama is directly references all the Squidward memes and his poses. And it also seems to be coming from Black Goop, which I guess how he kind of forms. It says Black Goop decided to take on the form of Squidward. It's definitely a different Squidward, because it's a Squidward with a coat. At least a fancy shirt. Or fancy suit, for that matter. The boyfriend is the third version of Minus Boyfriend from the FNF Minus mod. Meaning that the boyfriend you're playing as is not technically the same boyfriend in the mod. It's technically just Minus Boyfriend that just decided to randomly stumble in. And finally, Plagiarized for version 1. Plagiarize is based off of a show known as Coconut Fred's Fruity Island, where even the voice actor for Fred said that the show was a blatant SpongeBob ripoff. Is it? I don't know. Should you check it? Maybe, just for curiosity's sake. Who knows? It could potentially be fun. Hell, it even references pop culture and even games a few times, so whatever. Coconut Fred is, of course, your main opponent. He's a crazy little coconut that spends his time on Fruit Island, or as it's called, Fruit Salad Island, whatever Also, yes, all the things are based around fruits and vegetables. Yes, the sun is an orange. I don't care. And for some reason, there's like 5 different versions of plagiarize. You have the normal plagiarize, then two other versions of plagiarize that seem to try to revamp it. And the third version includes SpongeBob going up against Coconut Fred, which I thought would have been cool in the first version. You know, SpongeBob going up against his rip-off counterpart. That was cool. Version 4 and version 5, which are even less known. So yeah, that's something. Let's get on to version 2 and see what was scrapped. So, version 2 was going to include a couple more songs. Bold and Brash. Bold and Brash was going to feature Starved Squidward or Tencula. Tencula. I think it's Latin or something. But either way, it's just Starved Squidward. There was also going to be a Starved Plankton that would essentially just join Starved Squidward on his shoulder, with Starved Squidward being the brawn and Starved Plankton being the brains. Starved Squidward would potentially be able to go on a rampage. Backstory is still unknown, as of course Mistful Crimson Morning version 2 was cancelled, so we don't have a lot of backstory for Starved Squidward, but potentially the backstory could be somewhat based on Starved Eggman, considering that Starved Squidward is literally based off of Starved Eggman. And the song Boulder Brash was composed by the same composer as Fight or Flight, which is the reason why it sounds like a banger. Mr. Krabs takes the role of Tails, with Mr. Krabs funnily wearing his anti-ghost armor from the SpongeBob episode SpongeBob and Patrick's Day Off, which I think is funny that Mr. Krabs uses his anti-ghost armor, thinking Starved Squidward is some kind of ghost or something. Like, it's hilarious. Of course, SpongeBob is left brutally murdered on the floor. Patrick is just completely gone, so I don't know why. You'd think Patrick would come to save his best friend, with Patrick taking the role of Tails, but Mr. Krabs joins him and proceeds to try to save SpongeBob. Weirdest relationship I've ever seen. Employee and boss. Not sure that goes well. I don't know. Anyways, the next song that was scrapped was a song that was called Road Rage. Road Rage is based off another SpongeBob game. This time, Road Rage is based off the level Diesel Dreaming from the game SpongeBob Creature from the Krusty Krab. It would feature what I call Ed Roth SpongeBob, aka a version of SpongeBob based on the art style of street artist Ed Roth. Or I think, artist Ed Roth. And then the Piston Patrick. A version of Patrick based off of Ed Roth's art. The song would have potentially taken place in the first level of Creature from the Krusty Krab, Diesel Dreaming, Road Rage itself is actually a pretty banging song, so yeah, that's nice. And also, who did the voice acting for Piston Patrick? Because this sounds almost exactly the same as the same voice actor from Creature from the Krusty Krab. How do fan-made voice actors line up so well with the official ones they sound almost official? How? Please explain this to me. This is literally magic at this point. You thought I'm playing Smoke and Mirrors? No, this is true magic. You ain't seen nothing yet, boy. Anyways, another song that was scrapped was Propaganda, based on the Saturday Night Live's TV Funhouse with the ex-presidents. It more or less focused on ex-presidents George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, and 2 others. Harold Ford. And who was that other one? I don't remember. What was the one that was dressing like a movie director? The green plaid and whatever. Anyways, with the ex-presidents, they try to make a propaganda film to help Americans support the Iraq War by stopping Iraq. And in turn, they get SpongeBob to help him. But SpongeBob doesn't want to do it because he thinks it's overly racist. SpongeBob tries to leave, but then he's captured in a cage, and warning, one of the presidents say, check his hard drive for child porn. Yes, I'm not joking, it's literally that. check his hard drive for any child pornography. In which SpongeBob proceeds to say, I don't have a computer. And then the Powerpuff Girls try to come in, and yeah, they get beat up as well. Yeah, kind of shocking, especially for some reason that the skit in its entirety is on YouTube. Especially because of the fact that the skit itself says the P word. Yeah, and its entirety is on YouTube, so don't blame me. This is YouTube's terms of service going completely bonkers as to why they even allowed it. And funny enough, SpongeBob in the Saturday Night Live skit is voiced by Tom Kenny. However, ever since then, Tom Kenny has never been allowed to voice SpongeBob outside of Nickelodeon. I wonder why. I mean, SpongeBob never said anything bad. He just didn't feel he wanted to do it because he felt it was too racist. He never said any curse words. He was completely fine. I mean, sure, Tom Kenny's voice actor has said some curse words outside of Nickelodeon, but not really in the show when doing the role of SpongeBob or, Patch the Pirate or whatever. I don't know. Another song that was scrapped was potentially going to be another song for Star of Squidward, so yeah. Other songs that were planned was Sponge.xml, a version of SpongeBob that was essentially just Faker Sonic in SpongeBob form, created by Revy. The devs didn't want to put in due to Revy unfortunately getting put in an infamous reputation due to the fact that Twitter is toxic as fuck. And because of that, even though Revy is innocent, people still believe, and it seems that the Mistful Crimson Morning Team are unfortunately victims in the believing that, well, Revy is a horrible person, which that argument is stupid and is completely dried at this point. So yeah. Essentially, Sponge.xml was destroyed. Sponge.xml would have been a Faker Sonic in SpongeBob form, and would have a beast form where he turned like half sponge, half werewolf, I guess. Another character was Balloon SpongeBob in the song Popped. Of course, Balloon SpongeBob is based off the infamous SpongeBob balloon that people kept seeing all over the place. So yeah. Other things that were described were goated among them Squidward, which was essentially Squidward in the Shag style of that YTV. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. But then what else was left? There were reworks of existing songs served. Satisfaction. Doomsday served. Satisfaction. My DVR. And then what came after that? There were two scrap songs. Evader, which was essentially just the original dumped. And then there's Failure, a scrapped version of Doomsday. So yeah. While Evader sounds completely different from Dumped, despite the fact it's being linked to Dumped, eventually would change up. So yeah. There are some other characters planned, such as Massacre. Massacre featuring Horror Tales Patrick. Horror Tales Patrick is essentially a serial killer in SpongeBob. There's also the hash-slinging slasher with the song Hash, I think. The hash-slinging slasher is more or less just a character that was featured in the classic SpongeBob episode Graveyard Shift. Yet another attempt at throwing official SpongeBob creepiness into the mod. So yeah. I'm pretty sure I got everything. If there's other things I missed, let me know. I'll potentially make a major 1.5 video to discuss this. A part 1.5 video to extend on this a bit. But now it's time to talk about why the mod canceled. What ended up happening was simply like every other mod getting canceled, it was due to the dev. It was one of two ways. The devs being assholes and people leaking stuff from the mod early. And of course, leaking had to be the biggest problem, as the leaking problem for Mistful Crimson Morning version 2 was all over the place on YouTube. During the summer, and part of September, you couldn't go damn near on FNF YouTube without seeing leaks of Mistful Crimson Morning. I saw the leaks and I thought I was like, hey, look at all these leaks. These are new stuff. I mean, sure, they're not finished yet, but I'm just hoping let's just wait and let's see the actual product for once. Like, whenever I see leaks, I'm like, I know, in my brain, when I see leaks, I'm like, I'm pretty sure leaking is illegal, but still, hey, we get to see something early. I mean, sure, it's unfinished, but in my brain, my thoughts say, okay, we shouldn't take the unfinished stuff at face value and say that a mod is bad just because of some leaks. The devs are working hard, so don't worry. Eventually, everything's going to be polished up and it's going to look all nice and spank-branking new. So don't worry, be patient. Don't go on Twitter and call mod bad just because some unfinished leak decided to drop in. That's how we should do things. We should just look. We can look at leaks, but we shouldn't complain that this is what the mod's gonna look like because it's unfinished. These are leaks, remember? These leaks are coming from early builds of a mod. It's because during early builds, the devs are still working on everything. So don't start complaining. I mean, Jesus. This is probably one of the reasons why FNF is so toxic. Everyone that sees leaks always complains that mods are bad just because of an unfinished leak build. Like, bruh, are you kidding me? Are you fucking joking with me? Why are you pulling my fucking leg right now? You serious? This is how you do stuff? This is how you view things? Are you fucking broke or some shit? Anyways, another thing that got Mistful Crimson Morning canceled was because of the fact one of the developers used the N-word. So yeah, that was fun. And they tried to apologize and move on, which, right for them for trying to apologize and not being an asshole. Unlike some other people, where some other people that have way too much fucking big-ass egos, they start saying the N-word, don't apologize. What? The Mistful Crimson Morning devs finally did the right thing that other devs should be doing. Apologizing. Yet Twitter, being Twitter, ran with the whole, a developer said a racial slur, and they fucking ran with it like it was nothing, causing the dev to eventually just get angry right at that moment. Which I can't blame them. You apologized, yet you still got bashed by the internet. Like, come on. You're just trying to move on. He apologized for crying out loud. The dev did the right thing for once. Finally, an FNF mod developer did the right thing and didn't do the wrong thing, which there are so many wrong things. Essentially, I'm just making FNF court at this point. So yeah. Another thing that got Mistful Crimson Morning banned was the fact that the Twitter account eventually stopped running, which is sad when I think about it. Like, bro, the Twitter account had some fun stuff. Anyways, yeah, so that was sad. Oh yeah, another character that was meant to be Mistful Crimson Morning was Momazos Diego, probably referring to a meme YouTube channel. Essentially, Squidward in front of a logo that says Momazos Diego. Its first appearance in FNF was in the song Served Wife from the Spongebob Lost Episodes mod. An FNF mod that sort of predates Mistful Crimson Morning and Spongebob Parodies back in April, which featured some stuff that would eventually be in Mistful Crimson Morning and Spongebob Parodies, more specifically SpongeBong Hemp Pants, that would appear in Spongebob Parodies, as well as Suicide Squidward, Bootleg SpongeBob, and Surf Plankton that will all play sort of main roles or real main roles in Mistful Crimson Morning. Anyways, back to why the mod got canceled. Other things that got the mod got canceled, the devs trying to purchase these songs from the composer Calsum, who made a few songs, and the devs were trying to buy them back for $60, which I think is which to me is cheap. Like, bruh, $60? That's like what, free $20 bills? Like, that's not a lot of money. In fact, that's good pay for someone who is a developer. Most FNF mod developers don't get paid to shit. Even during Bob and Bossip's development, Moore wasn't paying the devs correctly. Like, Jesus. Here, the devs are actually trying to pay a decent amount of money for a developer who got his songs removed. Like, come on. You should just take the $60. At that point, that's enough to buy a few groceries. I mean, hell, that probably goes up to your life savings. Like, come on. Not a bad offer. Though I do understand that paying money for songs, for stuff that are technically not yours, but someone else, is technically a bit illegal. But hey, we have eBay, so what do you expect? It's not like it's the most uncommon thing. Other things were because some other mismanagements and other shifty rifty rafties in the dev development team that eventually just let the whole mob being canceled. Not sure if Mistful Crimson Morning is gonna come back, but potentially, just like Sonic.exe, someone's gonna pick up Mistful Crimson Morning and say, you know what, I'm gonna revive this mod and restore it, while also making my original content. Sort of like how Fudagami is attempting to restore Sonic.exe and making their own original content. I bet at some point, Mistful Crimson Morning is gonna get the same treatment. Unless the Mistful Crimson Morning team is gonna come back and actually officially continue. I mean, look at Spongebob Parodies. They're still going on. Spongebob Parodies is currently going to enter version 4 and version 5, making this the longest running Spongebob mod with a bunch of updates. The first Spongebob mods were Sponge, a joke mod by BMV277, and Funkin' and Bikini Bottom. And then there's Memeing and Bikini Bottom, so yeah. Hadn't been a whole lot of Spongebob back then, but 2022 we've gotten a couple SpongeBob mods, which is nice. Anyways, so yeah, I guess, well, unfortunately, I guess that means that Mistful Crimson Morning has to unfortunately join with Xenophanes. Star of Squidward has to join Xenophanes and Suicide Mouse. And the fact that, all three of their mods are canceled. Mario's Madness is the only one that's still going for some reason, I don't know. Even despite the leaks, Mario's Madness continues. LOL. I think I rip. So there you have it. There's my Mistful Crimson Morning video, and there's the reason why the mod got canceled. I'll explain. I just show evidence. You just need to do a simple Google search or go on Twitter, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Have a nice time, folks, and I'll see you later. Because I'm going to be doing more videos, and yes, I'm going to be doing Subway Surfers videos. Probably also wanted to expand on slap battles, since I just recently introduced it. And I've actually been playing slap battles for probably almost over a year. So yeah. Goodbye, folks. I'll see you next time. Goodbye to camera.